This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Anyway, so once again we are in the interesting position of how exactly to show you guys the runes, but they do look better. So there's that. You guys want to start with Amber or Anna? I figured I'd just do like a general reading for both of them. That's about right. I don't know how many of you are in here, but there's about 20 votes, so. Well, Anna won by a landslide, so... No, I need that! I need that, I'm sorry. You can go back when I'm done. Tail. Alright, let's see if I can do this before the cat decides to jump back up there. Alright. We're gonna do a general reading of Anna. I could end the poll. I mean, I can pick these up. These are so much bigger than my old ones. I don't know if I've shown you guys. So these are the ones I got in Salem. Alright, these turned out so much nicer. This was a good purchase. Alright, so this was a general reading for Anna. There we go. Alright, yay! Don't those look nice, though? Well, they're not technically witch runes, because... Adulci, because we're not technically witches. But yeah, no, they're... I was really excited about these runes when I got them, and I really love the spiral. There was other sets there, but they didn't have the cool wood rings on them. I wouldn't typically pick pine. It's not a traditional wood for runes, but it's pretty sturdy, and I really love the rings on it. So, they spoke to me, so I had to have them. Can I do a brief explanation of a runes reading? Is it like tarot or like tea leaf? I'm not really good at tea leaves. I don't really... I think it's a little too abstract. So... Sorry. Trying to tuck that away. It's helping with my heartburn, so I apologize, but... So with runes, the difference between runes and tarot is more of a fortune telling kind of a thing. This is more of a oracle. And how to explain the difference? Oracles kind of perceive how the future is going to unfold should nothing change, right? This is the most likely outcome given nothing changing or things just progressing the way that they are. Or if you come and you say, I'm planning on doing XYZ, what might the outcome be? That's kind of more what you would do with rune readings like these. Tarot cards do kind of like a past and a future and a kind of a reading kind of a thing. I'm not really good at tarot, by the way. This is more... It's not your future, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's more like testing the temperature of the water to find out if it's too hot or too cold. It can be changed. None of this is set in stone. This is just currently the events as they are set. So, but yes, these are legit. Made by Avitki runes. Yeah, I like my other runes too, but they don't show up. Like, these show up so nicely, and they're so simple. So, I haven't actually even looked at this. So, with the way that I do mine spreads, the closer to the center you get, the closer to you. So, you are the center. Everything spreads out in a ring outwards. So, the further away you get, and then this is the outer ring here because this is my cat's sleeping bed. With a pillowcase, because I'm fancy. Anyway, this would be the wall, so that would be the furthest out that the runes could get, right? So anything touching this outer ring here is the outside influence coming in, right? So these are things that are from the outside world that are influencing the inner world of Anna, right? And I got a cat hair on my face. Anyway, And this is actually the inaugural reading on these runes. I haven't done a reading with these yet. So, what's some interesting clusters going on here? Is that Lagos? Yes, it is. So, see, and they even look different in real life than they do in this picture. It's kind of cool, actually. All right, so we've got Kinaz over here, which is knowledge. It's enlightenment. It's touching the ring, so it's coming from the outside. It's even facing in, little alligator mouth, facing in. It's interestingly pointing directly to Ansus, which translates as mouth. It's the mouth of the divine, usually translated as like the breath of life given to us by Odin. So run with me. This stuff's not scientifical, okay? We're just running off of the sagas and whatnots here. Herath is a rune of mysteries. A lot of people interpret it a bunch of different ways. I go off of the rune poem, so this is, and I also go off of the Freya Answayan translation of it. So this is the birth hall. The women are gathered in the birth hall. There's joy within the birth hall. However, because it's a birth hall, there's obviously birthing happening, and your life is a mystery until you come out. So this is that kind of random lot box kind of a thing, but it's secret, right? So it's kind of like secrets being revealed. It can also indicate gaining knowledge from a group of peers or a group who are more knowledgeable than you, kind of a thing. Rumpology. Do I read clockwise or kind of? I don't. I just kind of read in clumps. All right, so anyway, we've got knowledge, we've got divine inspiration, we've got, this is partnership. No, this isn't. This is gifting. This is Gabo. It's a gifting rune. So we get this a lot with Amber. Actually, when it pops up with Amber, I almost always interpret it with its toxic meaning, in that, like, you are giving a gift to somebody to kind of entrap them to, because gifting is a cycle. I give you something, you give it back, or give something back, and we go on a back and forth. And that can be used in a toxic way to control people. But it can also mean the altruistic giving of a gift. Like, I see someone as in need. I have a thing that they need. I don't need it. Therefore, I will give it to them, kind of a thing. And it is coming from the outside world. It could mean something kind of like all of the PR stuff that Anna gets. Just all the PR gifts and things. We've also got Fihu. Fihu's only meaning is money. So we've got that, again, touching the outside ring. We've got Tiwaz. Tiwaz is the guiding star. It's a divine finger pointing you in the right direction. It's touching the outer ring as well. But interestingly, it's pointing away from pretty much everything here, which I think is a little fascinating. So these are the outside influences that are kind of seeping into Anna's world. And I find the fact that gifting and money are both from the outside, like she's getting those from the outside and they're coming into her world. She's not generating it herself. So that's interesting that it's basically saying she's not generating her own income, or she's found a way to get the outside world to give her income. Because this actually lines up with Zwalu, and Zwalu is the sun. It's the sun at the end of a long journey. It's considered a victory rune. So we get this one a lot with Amber as well. But we've got a few pointing directly to Zwalu, so it's kind of like a victorious gift here, or victorious money, or money is coming in as a form of victory. And then also this, you see this is forming like a little triangle here. So typically that would say that these runes are related in some way, or they're working together in some way to kind of create meaning here. And that's what's interesting about this Issa rune over here. Issa is ice, and it is ice is deception. Nothing, ice glitters like diamonds, right? But obviously ice is not diamonds. And so when the ice melts, the diamonds are gone. So it's being blinded by an illusion, right? So we've got the gifting, and it lines up with Issa. So maybe there's like some gifts that she's getting from the outside world that look very attractive, that look like they're valuable, but they are not. And she might be having a hard time discerning good from ill. You know, like free surgery. This one is has this one and the other one that isn't here, I always get their names mixed up because they are literally one letter different. Anyway, this one is a U, and this usually symbolizes the pillar of the estate. So if you consider like your home is your family center, your family HQ, this is the pillar of that home. It can mean putting down roots. It can mean that you are the stabilizing force in the household. This is directly touching Anna. This rune here that hasn't turned over. This is Anna, right? This is the dead center. So this is directly touching Anna, and it is pointing directly into Anna. So I'm thinking maybe this is Anna needing some kind of stability, or Anna perceiving herself as being some kind of stability. And I mean, she's the only person in her household, so it kind of goes without saying she's the pillar of her household, I would say. Especially with this one over here. This is Othla. Othla represents the family, the family as in like the family line, the heritage, the home, and following traditional rules, right? And it is incredibly far removed. See, the way I interpret the upside down runes is that they are blocks. They're being used to separate the runes from each other. Otherwise, they would just kind of all be like, oh, they're all together, but they're not, though. And so this one representing the home and the hearth and like the tradition of the home being so far separated from this one that is, you know, the stability of the home and creating and being the pillar of the house. I think that's a really interesting division here, especially since this is like way off by itself. We could say it's in line with this one, but I think the gap is a little too big there, and there's too much going on in between. Yeah, the U bends, but it doesn't break. That's why it's a good pillar. That's why it makes good bows. A U bow was an infamous bow for being good. All right, we've got Brokana over here. Brokana is had this discussion with a couple of people now. Brokana represents the birch tree, and the poem says that the birch tree reproduces without producing seed. I understand this is scientifically not possible. Okay, that's just how the poem works. But so it's kind of representing your inner strength, your inner ability to grow. So this is everything that is happening because you personally have the ability to do it. You're not using things from the outside. You are the source of everything, right? Or the source of this whatever's going on. And then we've got Lagos over here. Lagos is sometimes people translate it as being water. I don't really translate it like that. The way the verse reads is more as if you've gone out on an unsteady ship on rocky waves. Like you've poorly planned and you've poorly planned. Provisioned, I think was the word I was going for. But either way, you've set yourself up for a bad journey because you haven't done all the steps necessary to make sure that things won't go awry. And that's what this is talking about, is the rocky waters from a poorly planned trip. This one is also another one that people translate it as protection. I cannot for the life of me figure out why. But the rune poem talks about grabbing onto things and being burned by the stinging of it. But you are grasping the thing. So the fact that it's kind of like, this is definitely a cluster. And it almost feels like this and this and then this being so close to the center, which again is Anna herself, and this being overwhelmed by these two runes, both of which are talking about holding on to painful things unnecessarily and bad planning leading to bad trips. You've got this over here. You've got the traditional household over here. None of these are really connected. They're purposefully separate. And I just kind of interpret that as like, Anna thinks she's a lot stronger and knows a lot better than her family or her support system. And I think she's trying to do too much by herself. And it's not going to work out the way she thinks it's going to work out. And it's going to actually maybe cause some issues that could be avoided if Anna would just let go, right? And that might be what this over here is talking about, especially this pointing away. Like, it's entirely possible that Anna's perceiving victory here with this outside funding coming into her life. She's perceiving it as a victory, but she really needs to be moving away from it. Not entirely sure what she should be moving to. There is nothing over here, so it could be anyone's guess, but there we are. So I wanted to come back to this, though. There's this outside knowledge. This is knowledge and enlightenment. And again, it's directly pointing toward Ansus. Ansus, like I said, it's the divine word. It can be interpreted as like poetry or writing. And the fact that there's like an enlightenment pointing directly down to it, excuse me, and it's separate but still kind of part of that large cluster there. I think she could get guidance, some positive guidance from outside. Let's see how this is pointing away from the center. I think maybe she's even had that advice given to her, like good advice, and she's ignoring it for some reason. And then, of course, you know, I talked about how this is, you know, a rune of secrets, but it can also be a rune of knowledgeable people, like a group of knowledgeable people. And it's completely blocked off, right? Except for this. I wouldn't say that these two are in alignment, but they're not blocked from each other. So I'm not saying these two are related. I'm just saying, like, this is the only rune that this could have any interaction with, right? In the spread, it's completely blocked off from Anna herself. So I think that there is some source of expertise that she could have access to, but she's keeping herself from it. And I think it's because she thinks she knows best. And because she's trying to do things her own way, it's going to actually end up causing some problems. And she could be doing it because she's getting some outside funding or some outside money pushing to do these things. And I don't think it's really the route she should be taking, right? Because she's getting these gifts, she's getting this money, and it's not what she thinks it is. She's being bamboozled by the illusion, by the glittering of the ice and thinking the ice is diamonds. So, trying to see. So, but really what I'm really picking up here is that, like, she's got the access to or the offering of guidance, good guidance. She's just not using it or not accessing it. Yeah, I don't really do the spiral. I mean, I can, but I don't technically do it sometimes, Poto, unless they're all like this. Like, if all of these were face up, then yeah, that would be a big old cluster I would need to interpret the crap out of. That would be a lot of runes. It almost seems like Anna's going to be burned by her own self-confidence. Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks that way, honestly. Zawallow is a positive rune, though. Zawallow doesn't really have a negative definition. And it can't be reversed, so that doesn't have, like, a merc staff. Some people use that idea that there's, like, a positive reading and a negative, or a positive meaning and a negative meaning, depending on if the rune is upright or not. Swallow technically can't be. It's non-reversible. Anyway, it's a very positive rune. So this being over here, and maybe that's why she's got so much confidence, is she's been getting so much positive feedback or whatever, money, profit, something to do with finances over here. That's been working out so well for her that she's not seeing the illusion, right? Almost, but again, you know, Annie Dunning-Kruger O'Brien. I mean, yeah, kinda. Probably not a sponsored or paid for surgery is what she needs to be moving away from. She needs, yeah, I mean, like, blocked by all the real specialist doctors who truly wanted to help. Yeah, I mean, remember how she talked about her doctors and she's like, I didn't want to go to another doctor who was just going to say the same thing as all the rest of them. How many doctors have you been to that have told you to lose weight, Anna? And how many do you have to go to before you listen? But I guess in her mind she's losing weight because she's lost the lipo. But I'm only going to cut the sections that have to do with the rune reading out of the live and post those. I think I'm going to just stitch them together and post them separately for everybody else, but the rest of the live I'm not going to be, it's going to stay members only. I just know that there's a lot of people that enjoy the rune readings, so. Well, there's not a ton of people, but, and I haven't done one in a really long time. Here we go. All right, so this is just a general reading on Amber. Amber. You all chit chat for a second. She always gets that fucking rune. Where's the other one she always gets? She didn't get very many this time. Hmm. I don't think that trip's gonna go the way she's expecting it to go. Yeah, that doesn't look good either. Excuse me. Well, you go get some sleep, Poto. My brain melted. This will all be up for members for replay, and I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna cut the runes out for the general public. I just think, I know people enjoy these, so. Alright. So, again, you know, the closer to the center, the closer we are to the actual person, and in this case, it's Amber. And right off the bat, there's going to be some kind of transportation problem here. And it's not a great problem. Also, this one represents, Manaz represents, like, man, people, and again, Lagos, you know, the poorly planned trip, right? And these two are, like, right together. So there's I'm thinking whatever this is a warning, and whatever it's warning about is probably got to do with, if Tomi be real, her visit at the end of the month. So, but this is interesting because this is Iwaz. Iwaz represents the transportation side of a journey. It means horse, you know, your fancy horse, but it's pointing at algaes. Thank you. And that one's the one that, like, painful if grasped kind of a thing. So I'm just interpreting that as being like something's going to go wrong with a mode of transportation. And you've got Jira here. Jira is the gear. It's the harvest. You reap what you sow kind of a thing, but you also have to sow in order to reap. That's why it's kind of like this. A lot of people liken it to the yin yang symbol. It's not, but it's kind of the same conceptual thing. Anyway, design. There's the word. And these are all lined up together. So I'm guessing that there's some kind of transportation problem that is being made. Like the problem she's causing her own problem here. And because of that, it's going to create a not so pleasant problem with some form of transportation. Let's see. We got a few over here all by its lonesome, but it is pointing towards Ingaz. Ingaz is this one, you see it more traditionally as like two triangles overlapping each other, so it kind of makes like a zigzaggy symbol. This is a really bad example of it, but you know, it's like a zigzaggy symbol. It also sometimes gets interpreted as like a diamond or a square. So it's just the center of it. Sorry. But anyway, that's just another form of being. So I usually have that one as like the going out on your own kind of a thing, striking off on your own. But another more important interpretation of it is like being a hero, and people following after. And it's in alignment with Fio here. Fio being money. Fio also has a darker concept of giving money away in order to look like you're charitable. You're trying to look good in the eyes of the gods. You're trying to buy your way into heaven, kind of a thing. And it's linked up to this. They're not touching directly, but they're within alignment with each other without an actual blockage. He's on top of this, so I'm not going to call that a block. And then Zwala's all the way over here by its lonesome. I'm not entirely sure how to interpret that. We've got Dagaz over here. Dagaz is the day. It's the divine concept of the day. It is beginnings and endings. The day cannot begin unless the night ends, kind of a concept. So, I mean, in this aspect, it kind of looks like an hourglass, but typically it's on the side. So it looks like a D, like two Ds together. Anyway, it's got something to do with this. So there's an ending and a beginning going on. And then this concept of just like divine inspiration is like fly in the coop. It's like leaving the chat. So it's possible that could be Mama Lynn K Buns, but I don't see anything like representing people or a person, because this is blocking it off from pretty much everybody else. So this is its own little cluster F over here. Sounds like Camber to a T. Two T's together. What do you want from me? Yeah, but down here, Manaz is people, humanity. Lagos being, it's a travel rune. I'm thinking that this is something's gonna go wrong with this meeting that she's claiming she's gonna have at the end of the month. And Inez is not quite on the outside. Hey, look, one of my hairs. Please ignore that. And she's here, right? This would be the outside world. Inez is like right in the middle of it. So it's something that she's aware of, something that's in her immediate sphere of influence. So it's something that she knows about, right? And it's just kind of hanging out over here by itself. Usually when it's like this and it's pointing inwards, I usually take it to mean like knowledge is incoming, right? So she's got some, and I don't know exactly what to connect it to because it's far enough away from everything, really. So I'm guessing that there's some realization, some insight that's getting ready to dawn on her. Be it good or bad, she's going to have an epiphany, I guess is where I'm going with this. And I'm not entirely sure what all it has to do with anything. If I'm forced to, I can kind of connect it here. So maybe she's about to have an epiphany about Tommy or Tony or whatever the hell her name is. So that could be what's going on here, and it's isolated. So that's interesting to me. So we're gonna have a bad trip or a bad meeting. We're gonna have a bad something here with transportation, and it's this just kind of keeping itself as separate from these runes as it can is kind of interesting to me, especially since it's pointing away. It's almost as if like it almost is like someone's like, give up, and they're just walking away, you know, Like they've been divinely inspired to leave the situation, right? And then you've got Dagaz over here with the endings and the beginnings, and I'm just kind of like, I feel like this is something that's been brewing. This is something that's been occurring. So maybe this is Mama Lynn just finally being like, ah, you are a leech, and decides to leave because Amber does something about transportation here. And then this one's kind of interesting to me just because like it has to do with finance. And it's coming in, and again, it's inside that immediate sphere. It's not the outside world, so it's still Amber's world. So, I don't know, maybe she's been giving away money in order to look like a hero? I'd feel a lot better about that if there was like Isa was over here or something. But that might be what we're dealing with here. She might be trying to she might be trying to buy hero worship. It wouldn't be the first time. But I just kind of feel like maybe that's what's going on here. And then we've got Zwalu. Again, it's a victory rune. She gets this in almost every reading I do for her. So, but it is so far removed. Usually it's much closer to the center. And this one's like against the wall, right? So, again, it kind of feels like it's leaving and not coming in. So maybe it's been pushed away. Maybe this buying this hero worship that she's trying to buy has caused whatever it is she's trying to buy this hero worship for is not going to succeed. Or maybe it is going to succeed, but it's just going to take a while. What about Mama Lynn's boyfriend? Could he leave because he's sick of Amber? Again, I'm not really seeing a person here. I mean, it's not... Your guess is as good as mine right there. It could be. I know everybody's really concerned about the boyfriend. Maybe I'll ask it. She said something like they'd been together for like 8 years or something like that, though. I mean, if he's put up with her that long, I don't think Amber's going to break them up. He's already seen the ugly of Mama Lynn's life, so... Wanting hero worship for Mama Lynn. Maybe. I honestly think, though, with Amber, just, you know, judging by how things have gone in the past, I think she's trying to get hero worship from the new girlfriend. You know how she does? So that seems more likable, or likely, yeah, to me, but... She did say they were getting married, yeah. Can we do Foodie? I can give it a shot. I'm not as in tune with Foodie, so... Tony's return flight gets canceled and they have to move in with Amber. Well? I mean... That could be U-Haul lesbian right there. It's an ending and a beginning. It's reaping what she sows. It's transportation coming in a painful situation, and then inspiration is leaving. Could it be that her spirit has been bargaining with some ruling entity to buy her good health, but her luck is about to run out? Tony would hitchhike. Maybe it's a sore thumb. I don't know. I don't know about the ephemery. Maybe the buying part, maybe. Right, Allie? Well, we don't know anything about Tommy yet. And I think this person is real just because of how Amber talks. This is how she talks when she's in an actual relationship. And it is not how she talked when she was starting the thing with Valentine. So I'll give Foodie a shot. Let me see what I can do here. What was the actual question? I don't think I've ever done one for Foodie. Forced caretaker, yeah. Did I get everybody? We do Foodie and how she'll do on her new diabetes journey. Well, that's not good. Been a minute since I've seen some of these runes, like, in this combos. I don't know why this picture's taking so long to upload, but would we like to put in, like, this is the reading for Foodie that's taking forever to upload. And these are Tums. Right? Exactly. Memory. Chantel's thing is already causing problems. Alright, so, but anyway, when it gets up there, this should surprise absolutely no one. There's Laguz and Fihu, Laguz being the rune of poor travel decisions, and Fihu being the rune of money, combined to each other. No one should be surprised that Chantel is throwing money after bad travel plans. Issa is off in the world, against the world wall. Basically, there's some kind of illusion from the outside world that she's happily believing. She's got a Jira again against as part of her outside influence. That's the reaping what you sow. So there's some kind of karmic something is coming back on her. She's got a very painful experience coming in, and this we talked about the concept of the you and it being a pillar within the pillar within the home. Again, that one's moving out towards the world, so it's leaving her sphere of influence. And then she's got another cluster that's got two runes that we haven't talked about yet. One is called Nathus, and the other one is Thurazaz. And Nathus is need, and Thurazaz sometimes gets translated as a giant, giants in an evil way, or thorn more typically. I think it's a better translation for it, honestly. But Nathus is a warning rune. It's about something bad is going to happen, but you're getting plenty of forewarning about it. So you know this bad thing is going to happen, and you have the ability to stop it, right? Thurazaz is an incredibly painful experience that is going to occur, right? And they're right next to each other. And both of those are in the dead center, right on top of what would be Chantel herself, along with Lagos and Fiu, bad travel and money, right? I forget what the question exactly was, but it was her diabetes journey here. And then, to further the whole concept of travel, she's got Zwaluz, Othla, Radio, and Ansus again, all in a cluster that are making a T-shape. What is going on? It's like the internet crashed just on my phone. Alright. She copyright struck my internet connection. Possibly. I haven't had any issues with Foodie, but I'm not a big Foodie reactor, so I don't think she knows who I am. She's too busy picking fights with Milk Tea Reacts right now because she thinks that's going to end well. It's a subtle difference. It's not fatal yet. Well, okay, One-Eyed John. It's interesting that you should mention cardiac failure because I often, when I'm trying to explain this rune in particular to people, I often describe it as a heart attack because most of the time, it's my understanding, I've never had one, you get warning signs that you're having a heart attack and you can either go to the hospital and get something done about it, or you can sit there and have a heart attack. So it's interesting that you would bring that one up. It's very coincidency. All right, so anyway, we were talking about so these two runes here. This is Lagos and Fiu. Money and poorly planned travel right on top of each other. And we know she has to leave or is gone right now because she's got to get her visa renewed because she's just visa hopping, right? So these are the two that worry me the most, honestly, because again, Nathu's discussing an immediate need. Thirazaz is, it's painful. It's thorns. You're literally being pierced with thorns, right? Excuse me, sorry. So the two of these together, like, it's not just that it's going to be a bad outcome if you do nothing. It's going to be really bad. We don't have the rune for catastrophe here yet. We've got Sawalu here. This little cluster is very interesting to me. We've got Sawalu, we've got Othala, we've got Radio, we've got Ansus. These are typically, this little cluster would typically be a very positive cluster. Radio is the journey. It's a travel rune, where Iwas was the transportation itself, like the horse part. Radio is the journey. So it typically signals travel or some kind of inward journey. But with Othala here, Othal being the rune of the hearth and the home and the tradition, the family. We've got Zawalu here as well. Again, Zawalu is a sun rune, but Zawalu talks about being able to see the sun after long travel across the ocean. And then Ansu's here with the divine mouth, divine word. It's also like inspiration. All of this clustered together, I think she's going to go back to Canada again. And I think she thinks it's a good idea, and I think she thinks she's going to get some kind of benefit out of it. But like, Othala is pointing away from literally all of these. I mean, you could kind of say it's pointing towards this one, sort of, but not really. So whatever success she thinks she's going to get, I don't think she's going to get it. And the journey is not an optimal idea, but she's inspired to do it. So I think she's going to travel again. And I think this travel, I'm positive she's going to travel again. And I don't think this journey is going to end very well. And I think she's... And it, you know, I mean, it could also be her returning home to her, to the new place. Where the hell are they? The new apartment with the Sala. So, is there something blocked here? Right? And that's the reap you can... This is the rune of, like, karma right now. So I think whatever this journey is, on top of being poorly planned and probably not turning out very well, or costing more than it probably should have because it's not planned well, I don't think this is going to be the victory she's expecting it to be, but she is inspired to do it. Yeah, she's got some kind of delusion going on over here. She's got some kind of karmic payback going on over here. She's got a painful situation that she could let go of, but she's not going to over here. And then we've got stability. Like, I'm trying to remember kind of like the darker definition of this one, and I'm not seeing it in the poem. Chantal seems to be a pretty vile person, but I don't really want her to die from something preventable, you know. Well, I mean, to be fair, she's been warned about her diabetes for, like, probably 5, 6, probably a decade at this point. So she knows about it, and she's ignoring it. So, I mean, it could be something... And I did ask about her health. So this is her health journey here. She's delusional about her health. She's holding on to something painful here, or she's doing something that is not contributing to her health. She's reaping what she sows when it comes to her health. This one, I'm having a hard time with this one to interpret, but it could just mean the, like, stability. I mean, it's another way to interpret this one. This is definitely some kind of journey. with the Othel rune, it's a journey away from home, it looks like, to home. It looks like it's going to be away from home. But that could mean her home where she's at right now, or it could mean Canada. So, but either way, she feels inspired to do it. And since this is sitting the way that it is, I'm guessing like that victory that she's expecting to come out of it, I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm wondering here if this journey that she's getting ready to take on, if that's not going to trigger this. And this is the event that I'm most concerned about, because this is not a good group. This is not a grouping of runes you really want. Especially when we're talking about health. I'm not gonna lie, I don't get readings like this very often. Instead of stability, maybe stagnation, inertia. No, it's not that kind of stability. That would be the stagnation or inertia. Remember the Issa rune that I talk about a lot with the ice's diamonds? That one also has that interpretation because, again, it's a trait of ice. So, might not be fatal. But she might have to go to the hospital. Yeah, I mean... when it comes to something like predicting the end, I would expect to see different runes. I think this is just something bad. Like I said, the rune for catastrophe is not present. So, you're not looking forward to the hospital vlogs. She's already sick, isn't she? Yeah, that's Smug's kind of... Is that Smug? No, that's Allie the Animator says, same old with Foodie. I mean, to be honest, though. Uh, the big sleep. Yeah, I'm not seeing the big sleep. I'm not willing to say that, I guess is what I'm saying. She checked into and out of the hospital like a library. Yeah, exactly. That's gotta cost. Her medical bills must be outrageous. So. But you guys got any questions about this one or any of the others? Because I've still got the pictures somewhere. I can pull them back up. But it's a catastrophe if you know it's going to happen. It's not really a catastrophe if you know it's going to happen. So, I don't know. Yeah, there we go. This is the rune I would expect to see for things becoming really bad. And it's just one of the runes. Kuwait. She's in Kuwait. Thank you. It's the letter H. Yes. This one I like to liken to, for those of you that do tarot, I kind of compare it to the Tower card. Only this one has like a positive outcome. Normally. So... But this is a rune of, like, it means hail. It's talking about hailstones, like when it hails from the sky. It's talking about that and how incredibly destructive that is. And if you get a big enough hailstorm, it can annihilate your crops, which down the road is really bad because now you don't have food for the next year, kind of a thing. Haglas, Platinum Lemur. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Haglas, or some people will say Hagel. Yeah, it's kind of like a tower moment. The upside to the Haglas rune is that, they call, well, the poem calls the hailstones the white seeds or seeds of water seeds because they melt and they water the ground, implying that something positive can now come out of the destruction because it's been prepped for renewal. All right. Well, we've done all three of the girls now.
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.